Right now at 5, voters
right now is
heading
women's
to the
rights. I think
polls.
that's very important right now for the election, and then also obviously the border problem as well.
Many issues leading them to polling places statewide and nationwide.
And Wisconsin's 2024 Senate race is under a national spotlight. Senator Tammy Baldwin trying to hold off Eric Hovde.
And a good evening to you all, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 5. I'm Ken Kozorowski.
And I'm Emily Brown. It's election night in Wisconsin, and we are live tonight covering all the big races and the big issues that matter to you the most.
That's right, and the presidential election is now, of course, in the hands of the voters. Polling sites across America are seeing extremely strong turnout as voters decide the next president.
And we have all these volunteers here. You'd be really excited to know. There are just a lot of young people who are here calling the neighbors all over the country.
That's Vice President Kamala Harris earlier today in Washington. She was at a DNC phone bank. Harris will be watching results come in from her alma mater, Howard University.
I'm hearing in Pennsylvania they won't have an answer till 2 or 3 days from now. I think it's an absolute outrage if that's the case.
Former President Trump making that comment while visiting his campaign headquarters in West Palm Beach, Florida. Trump will be watching results come in from West Palm.
And now to the Senate races, and it's a tight one here in Wisconsin. Democrat Senator Tammy Baldwin is facing off against Republican challenger Eric Hovde.
Baldwin, of course, looking to secure her third consecutive term in the U.S. Senate. And a win in Wisconsin is crucial for Democrats to keep their federal majority in that branch of the government. Today, Baldwin visited students at UW-Madison, encouraging them to get out and vote.
Volunteers are so committed to getting the vote out. And we had some great numbers in the early vote. Now, today's last day, and I feel the same momentum running into the finish line.
Eric Hovde, meanwhile, in Grand Chute. This is his second run at a Senate seat. He will be watching results come in at the Edgewater Hotel in Madison.
Look, I feel good. I've been running hard for 9 months from morning to night. Yeah, you're a little tired at the end, but running hard through the finish line. But the momentum is clearly on our side.
And we will have coverage at both candidates' watch parties in Madison later tonight. Voters are also deciding on several Cooley Region and Chippewa Valley school referendums. News
8 Now's Allison Fergit is live over at the Hogan Administrative Center with a breakdown. Good evening, Allison.
Evening, Ken and Emily. Now, La Crosse voters are deciding on a $53 million capital referendum today. That referendum would close Spence and Emerson Elementaries and build a new elementary school at the Hogan Administrative Center site. Hogan would be torn down in order to build the new school. Voters I spoke with today are leaning against the referendum, saying it's unnecessary. In Eau Claire, voters there are deciding on a $72 million operating referendum that would help ensure school programs can continue.
I think public schools are very important and they don't get enough money. I think the more resources we can put toward the future and educating our children, the better.
The district says the referendum will help pay for behavioral and mental health resources and safe school environments. And now a number of area school districts have important referendums on the ballot. Tomah, West Salem, Sparta, all of them. So we will have those results tonight at 10. Reporting in La Crosse, Ken and Emily, back to you.
120 referendums statewide in this November election. Allison, thanks very much. Well, in the meantime, it was a rainy start to the day at the polls. I think I went in around 1 o'clock in Onalaska, and it was still raining by my polling place.
I was there at 7 a.m. bright and early, and the line was out the door, and people were in with their raincoats, with their umbrellas, and it was an all-day thing today. And is it going to continue till tomorrow, Greg?
No, pretty much we're wrapping up the rain that's here today. The good news was there's mild temperatures overall for November, so even with the light rain coming down, it wasn't overly too bad. But right now, this evening, we're kind of dealing with, could be some visibility issues, low clouds, especially southeast Minnesota. You see Ridgeway out down to 1 mile. No pockets of dense fog out there, but we could see some pockets of lower visibility. Overall, most of the precipitation is done, but you could see some drizzle for a few more hours for Eau Claire, getting back to 45, with the northwest wind will begin to pick up a little bit. La Crosse, very similar story, some drizzle, maybe some light rain, very light light through about 8. Could linger a little longer. Otherwise, cloud cover is in the rule with some lower visibility if you're driving out there through 10. Really, the precipitation has pushed all the way to the northeast. We just got a little bit of light precipitation right now. The winds have picked up in some areas, but other areas where it hasn't, that's where you see some lower visibility, but that's what we're looking at right now. We kind of time it out. There's not much going on really precipitation-wise. Overnight, low clouds, could be some fog areas depending on how things set up. Overall temperature still staying above freezing and pretty seasonal as you wake up. The one big story going, we're going to have dry and quiet weather for a while, and I'll break down how long this is going to last a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, sounds like a plan. Greg, thanks very much.
Tonight, we're also keeping an eye on a federal race for Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District.
Now let's go live to News 8 Now's Grace Monk, who is up in Eau Claire. Grace.
Ken and Emily, Rebecca Cook cast her ballot here in Eau Claire this morning and then hit the streets rallying as many voters as possible. Cook made several stops today, starting at UW Eau Claire and UW Stout to help secure the youth vote. Cook grew up on a dairy farm in Eau Claire and says her background appeals to voters here in the 3rd Congressional District.
To people, I encourage them and remind them that I'm a working class candidate, that I grew up working class, that we need more regular voices like me in Congress, people that aren't so far left or so far right, but really working to get things done for working families throughout the 3rd CD. And I think
Tonight, she'll gather with supporters at the Lismore Hotel here in Eau Claire to watch the results as they come in. Of course, we'll be here throughout the night and update you with those results as they come in. Live in Eau Claire, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
All right, Grace, thanks very much. And still in that 3rd CD, Republican Derek Van Orden is hoping for another 2 years in Washington.
News 8 Now's Jeremy Wall is in the newsroom with more. Jeremy.
Ken and Emily, this is Van Orden's 3rd time running for Congress. The retired Navy SEAL Ron Kine. He ran again in 2022 and defeated Brad Pfaff. Now he's running against Rebecca Cook, a business owner, nonprofit leader, and waitress. I spoke with Van Orden earlier. Here's what he had to say.
My wife, Sarah Jane, and I have 11 grandchildren, and this country's going in the wrong direction. And we owe it to our children and grandchildren to give them a country worth living in.
Van Orden says if he wins, his #1 priority is working on the Farm Bill, which strengthens programs for agricultural workers. As for some voters, here's what they told me.
I had a long conversation with him on the motorcycle ride that they had here in town, and seemed to be a really good guy, stands for the same stuff I do.
Korish also says if Van Orden wins, he hopes to see him secure the border. Coming up at 6, you'll hear more from Van Orden and voters. In the newsroom, Jeremy Wall, News 8 Now.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Voters statewide also have a proposed amendment to the state constitution. It would add language to existing laws on voter eligibility. Right now, the Constitution reads, every United States citizen age 18 or older who is a resident of an election district in this state is a qualified elector of that district. The proposal would change the word every to only, and then add a line that those people can vote in national, state, local office elections, or statewide or local referendums. Republicans say this is a response to some communities in Maryland, D.C., and California who let non-citizens vote in local races like a mayor or school board election. Now, Wisconsin law already says voters have to be U.S. citizens to vote, and they don't allow non-citizens to vote in local races. And if the amendment passes, communities essentially wouldn't be able to change that policy down the line.
Well, we have more of tonight's election races.
And we'll have more on Wisconsin's 94th, 95th, and 96th Assembly District spots right after this. Our election coverage continues with a focus now on some state assembly district races in the 94th, 95th, and 96th. All those districts are redrawn across the state after the legislature approved more politically balanced maps in February.
In the southwestern portion of La Crosse County, incumbent Democratic candidate Representative Jill Billings is facing Republican candidate Cedric Schnitzler for District 95.
That district now encompassing Monroe County, or at least the Sparta area. Incumbent Democrat Steve Doyle and Republican Ryan Hipsch are facing off in the 94th Assembly District, which includes northern La Crosse, Onalaska, Holmen, and the Galesville area. This is a rematch of 2022 where Doyle won by about 800 votes. More than $2 million have been spent for this district, which is one of the most purple in Wisconsin.
And now to the assembly race covering a majority of Vernon, Monroe, and Crawford counties. Incumbent Republican Representative Lauren Oldenburg is facing Democrat Tara Johnson to represent District 96.
That district under new maps Southern La Crosse and Vernon County. Now, in the state Senate, the 32nd district will see Democratic incumbent Brad Pfaff look to defend his seat from Republican challenger Stacey Klein. Pfaff is finishing his initial 4-year term, while Klein has been a member of the nonpartisan Trempealeau County Board. Klein shifted her focus from the U.S. Senate to state Senate earlier this year after Eric Hovde announced his candidacy. Pfaff took over this district in 2020 after narrowly defeating Dan Kopenke.
And Greg will have a look at your forecast right after this.
Yeah, we certainly needed the rain, and we had a nice stretch all going back to like early last week. So many areas picked up 3, even some 4-inch marks towards southern Wisconsin. So that's the good news, but we do need some dry conditions here. We still got some evening light rain and drizzle. Amounts of rain won't amount to much this evening, but still you could see that. Tomorrow, dry, cloudy, but that's the big news. It'll be dry. Temperatures pretty close to where they should be this time of year. And then when we go to Thursday and Friday, that's when I think we'll definitely see more sun, especially going to Friday. Temperatures will remain mild. So it's about a 3-day stretch. We're going to have dry conditions. That's the good news. We got the precipitation, which we definitely do need. Otherwise, really tonight, it's just everything begins to push off to the northeast. It's cloud cover that'll remain, and we could see some fog development. If we get some clearing skies, some of the areas could see that, or low clouds, something to take in consideration tonight and going throughout tomorrow morning. Overall, temperatures will continue to fall. We'll see some clearing out to the west, but it's going to remain cloudy pretty much all night as temperatures will get back down in some 30s, mostly 40s. So all in all, pretty typical temperatures, but you could deal with the fog, especially if you see some of these clear areas. That's where fog could really become maybe dense towards the morning hours. Otherwise, as we go past it, really it's going to be quiet. Big picture shows. But one we're going to take note of is the system down to the south towards Colorado that really is going to dump a lot of snow eventually as it sits there and spins. That's the one that's going to be coming for our weekend. But in the meantime, we got great conditions and through Friday, even through Saturday, and then eventually this begins to spin a little bit further north and east. It's going to take its time, but that is the next rainmaker coming towards the weekend. So unfortunately, we are going to have some wet conditions through the weekend, but it's not going to be a all-day type rain event, and amounts won't be that much. There's that low begin to lift to the northeast, so rain will probably be sometime Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. It'll go through Sunday, but mainly in the morning. I think by the afternoon times for Sunday, we'll start seeing at least the rain kind of push to the northeast. So we got a stretch of some wet weather coming, but overall it shouldn't be too much. Once we get past that, then Veterans Day, beyond that, looks fairly good too, and dry conditions. So that's what we're kind of looking through the forecast right now. Tomorrow's highs, as you look at, we're looking at upper 40s to low 50s, pretty seasonable conditions. Cloud cover, there could see a few breaks, especially further north you go, but all in all, not too bad of a November day. And it gets even better Thursday. I think more sun in the afternoon, so you see the temperatures climb up to the mid-50s, so mild. Winds will be light, so all in all, a really nice Thursday. And the good news is Friday is going to be even warmer and nice conditions too going on. So as you look at your 8-day forecast, we're going to see temperatures then go all the way back up to the upper 50s by Friday, and then the rain chance starts coming back in for Saturday and Sunday, but not expecting all-day rain events and not as much as we saw last Sunday. And overall, we remain mild, even going through next week too. So if you're looking for cold and snow, we don't have that. But really, overall, it's pretty mild conditions going on. But we are going to see a nice 3-day break, which I think everyone would like to see some dry conditions for a little bit.
Sure. I mean, who's looking for cold and snow?
I mean, I am.
Well,
of course I am.
Greg, you and I just could not be.
Out of control, Greg. Not today.
I know. But, you know, it's just the season. We're getting closer.
That's true. All right. Thanks, Greg. Up next, nothing wrong here, just a green pit bull puppy.
Tomorrow on News 8 Now This Morning, try before you commit. How VARC is helping local families explore disability services at no cost. The innovative program changing lives when we see you tomorrow morning.
Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
A pit bull puppy is making some news.
Yeah, this is Princess Fiona. Her owners, a Mississippi couple, say no need to panic. It's just a rare occurrence, and Fiona should only be green for a couple of weeks. Okay, she does kind of
Okay,
stand
yeah.
out
Oh,
there.
okay,
At
on that
first we
wide
were
shot,
like,
yeah.
it's not that green.
Yeah, initially
what are
I'm
they talking
like,
about?
that's almost like rolled in grass stains for a little bit, and it's just going to be green for a couple of weeks. I don't know if it's some kind of condition once born. I've never
don't
seen a litter
know.
of pit bull puppies.
We got to do research on it, but I feel a children's book coming about.
It's just
the
such a
green
cute
puppy.
shot here with Mama and the little
Yeah.
guy.
Good for her. Special little green puppy.
Princess Fiona, of course, probably a reference to
Yeah.
Shrek.
Shrek, that's right. That's why they named her Fiona, actually.
There we go.
If you had the full story.
Now
I
you know
did.
everything there is to know about a green pit bull
About
puppy.
all you need to know. All right, we'll have another look at tonight's forecast right after the break.
All right, cloudy conditions overnight. We could see a little bit of drizzle off and on, and maybe some areas of lower visibility, maybe some fog too as you wake up. But all in all, pretty quiet night. And then tomorrow, we're going to definitely see conditions improve. It's going to be dry. Unfortunately, we're not going to see much in the way of sunshine really until we get to Thursday and Friday. Temperature-wise, good. Unfortunately, rain's coming back for the weekend too. So.
All right, we'll take it.
Not too bad, right?
Yeah, not too shabby.
No, it isn't.
All right, remember, polls are still open until 8 p.m. As long as you're in line at your polling place by 8, you will be able to cast your ballot. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you at 6.